Welcome to the VST Connections video. This is a video showing you how to set up your inputs and outputs for recording audio and routing audio to certain places. So the first thing you need to do is go to Devices. Let me just clear this up. So if you go to Devices and select VST Connections, what you have here is your VST Connections window. So on this we're going to concentrate on inputs and outputs. The rest of these will be looked at later on. Okay, for this I'm just going to remove all of these and show you what they are. Okay, so if say you're going to be recording audio, so say you've got a guitar or some drums or a keyboard hooked up to an audio input on your sound card. The way that you assign your inputs is as follows. The first thing you do is you need to add an input bus, and I'll show you how this corresponds to the mixer. Now there's the mixer with absolutely nothing in it. So if I add an input bus, we'll add a stereo one. As you can see, it automatically gets assigned to my analog left and right inputs on channels 1 and 2. And if we come over here, now you'll see there's the audio input there, and you can see my voice coming into that. If you wanted to have another bus for, say, let's just call this. If you just double click where the writing is, we can change this. We'll call this main input. And as you can see, there's the analog 1 and 2 assigned to the ASIO Fireface. If we wanted to add another bus, it's simple, just add bus. And say this was going to be for vocals, for microphone. If I just go to mono, okay. And then if I change that to mic, and I can put in whatever input I like. Now these inputs are directly related to the amount of inputs I've got in my sound card. You may have 2 inputs, 3 inputs, 4 inputs, whatever. It's directly related to your own card. So at the moment I've got a main input that could be, say, my keyboard hooked up to channels 1 and 2 on my sound card, and I've got the microphone that could be hooked up to channel 3 on my sound card. So if I was to record on an audio channel, so if I come over here and create an audio track, just we'll create a normal stereo one. Over here we can tell it what bus to use, so what input. So here it's set to the main input, but if I wanted this to be for my mic that was hooked up to input 3 on my sound card, I would just come in here and change it to mic. Now anything that's coming in on input 3 would be recorded. At the moment, anything that's coming in on the main input would be recorded on this. So for instance, if I was to use my mic input, or the main input at the moment, but as you can see, because this is microphone, it's mono. So if I go add a track and use a mono track, I'm just doing this. This isn't the way I would do it. I'm just showing you how the recording process works, because I've got my microphone put into inputs 1 and 2 at the moment, just for the purposes of this video. But if I had it on 3, I would create the mono track, I would put that to mic, and it would record anything coming in on 3. But at the moment, because it's just coming in on the main input, and I'll just change that to left, now anything that I record on the main input will be recorded to this channel. So if I just mute that, make sure you've got record enable activated. Now as you can notice, you can see it on the input, but you can't see it on the audio channel. The reason for that is this monitor button here. If I click the monitor button, now you can see the input coming in. So if I hit record now, 1 2 1 2, we can record, we can. And there you go, it records. So now if I play it back, you'll hear that. Okay, you're not hearing anything. There's 2 reasons for that. The first reason, and the most important, is if you look here, it hasn't been sent to any output bus, and I can't put it to an output bus at the moment. The reason for that is we didn't create one. So if we go back to Devices, VST Connections, and go to Outputs and select Add Bus, we want a stereo output because this is our main output. Hit OK. You'll see it appear here on the mixer, and we want it to be channels 1 and 2, output 1 and 2, and we'll change that to main out. And you can see main out here, and main input mic, etc. So now, if I come back to here and change this to main out and press play, we won't hear anything again. That's the second reason that I wanted to show you. It's because the monitor button's on. Whenever the monitor button's on, you won't hear any playback. Take the monitor button off, press play, and you'll hear me talking. 1 2 1 2. There you go. That's your basic VST connections. So inputs, add a bus for and set it up, name it. Outputs, again, you can have multiple outputs. You can have as many as your card can deal with, and you can assign it to whatever channels you like. I'm just going to leave it as a main out at the moment and a main in at the moment. But if you've got a more complex setup, what you would do is you add all your buses, assign your buses to the inputs and the outputs of your of your sound card, and then you can come here and save the setup. So we'll call this test setup. Okay, and then go to outputs and save that as test setup. Okay, so now if I was to change this, but that's not what I wanted. All I need to do is come back to presets, look for the test setup, there we go. Go to the outputs, look for the test setup, there we go. You've got your setup sorted out. That's about all you need to know for the ins and outs at the moment. I hope that was helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.